I'm here in Medjugorje next to Cross Mountain on God Friday 2023, and I'm with, what's your name?
My name is George J. Raman.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm living in Ireland at the moment,
Yeah.
but my roots would be from India.
From India? I have
Yeah.
been in Kerala, you know Kerala?
Well, my mom is from Kerala.
Your
yeah.
mom is from
Mum's
Kerala. I
family.
was converted by a nun from Kerala in Germany.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah? The circle's close at Cross Mountain in Medjugorje, Bosnia, no? Herzegovina.
Brilliant.
And you said how many times you come and since when?
So the first time I came was in 2000, and ever since we've been coming generally about twice a year. Most of my wife brings big groups with her, April and October. We'll certainly come once a year, but most years we'll come twice.
Wow, and since 2000 you said?
Since 2000, yeah,
That's
about
amazing.
23 years now.
So
yeah.
we let the mathematics to the viewers.
Yeah.
But why do you come back all the time?
Well, for us, it's kind of a home away from home. And well, I came the first time over here just through a bizarre coincidence. It's a fabulous story, actually.
Yeah.
I used to be a lecturer in London many, many years ago, and one of my students, he was away, and he came back, and he said he thought about me in a certain place. He didn't tell me much about the place, and he gave me a rosary. And I had that rosary in my car, hanging in the rear view mirror for many, many years, without knowing what it was and what it meant. And if you forward many years after that, another friend of mine who sat in my car explains to me about this beautiful place called Medjugorje, that I should go. And I was going through a bad patch in my life, having lost my mum and dad, and I wasn't really grieving properly for that loss. I didn't know how to grieve, I didn't know how to cry. But I was going through a bad patch in life myself. And this friend of mine, Jim Curran, who's a fabulous mate of mine, he said I should go to this place called Medjugorje, and he kept on explaining to me about Mother Mary and how Mother Mary will spoil me if I come to Medjugorje. I didn't understand what he meant by that. And then when he was talking, I said, is this Medjugorje talking about, and the rosary was hanging in front of us all the while in the car? Well, he said, how'd you get this rosary from? I said, I don't know, it's been in my car for many years. A student of mine gave me. He said, George, I'm telling you, there's something there, you have to go. It's not coincidence. I'm telling you about the story. A bizarre student comes and gives you his rosary. You have to go there. And that was in 2000 I came. By myself I came, actually.
What happened?
And it's hard to explain, but he said, don't wait for anyone. There is an Apparition Hill. You have to climb that hill all by yourself very early in the morning and sit there, he said. And he said, this I'll never forget what Jim said. He said, Mother Mary will spoil you. That's all he said. She'll spoil you. I said, what do you mean, Jim? I can't explain, George. You have to go there. So I came 2000, it was in February, I think. And I climbed the Apparition Hill. It must have been 5:30 in the morning. Went up. I didn't know where I was going. It wasn't this developed those days. I went through fields, found my way. And I climbed the Apparition Hill, found the statue of Mother Mary, which is there. And I sat in front of her. Must have been about 2-3 hours. And I just cried. I cried. I'm getting emotional now, explaining that story. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Keep on going. Yeah.
And I cried. It wasn't even crying. I was wailing. I was, when your mum holds you when you're hurt as a child, and you just let go of the pain and you cry and you cry. That's the only way I can explain how I felt. And I suppose I used that opportunity to cry for the loss of my mum, my dad, and what I was going through my own personal life in London. A lot of losses and I remember coming back, and loads of things happened in that week, and confessions, amazing feeling I got out of confessions. But whatever happened on that mountain, kept me coming back all the time. I wanted more of that. I wanted every time the same feeling. I couldn't get more of it, and I wanted to come back again and again and again.
The hug of the mother. No?
Yes, exactly. I got that mother. Yeah. So look, I'm now climbing the cross mountain by myself because I don't wait. I know what's up there. I know there's something lovely there, and I don't need anyone with me. I just go. I just go because I get something out of it. And hence, I come back every year. We come back every year, and everyone's got various reasons as to why they come back. But for me, it's that embrace, You know, the
heavenly embrace.
yes, yeah, the warmth you get from that. You know, and for that sake, I keep coming back. You know, that sake, I keep climbing mountains.
You know
and
what happened to me? I came first time, never left.
Today.
2 years now.
Wow.
Because I received the hug as well, which I needed so desperately. You know.
Wow.
I think you needed it.
Yes.
That's why she brought you here.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
You pray the rosary now?
We do say the rosary at home as well every day. You know.
What does it bring? You're a young man. Why do you pray rosary? It's for old ladies who are the warriors.
I'm actually not that young. I'm 51 years old,
Yeah,
but
you know, we are positive. Me too, 51 here.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, look, rosary is something which was given to me when I was a young boy myself in India. My mom would be very spiritual and religious, you know. So we were brought up in some shape or form to say the rosary. But again, it's very subjective, isn't it? You know, what rosary means to me is so different to other people. For me, it's very special. It's a little connection you've got. That rosary is a connection to heaven, to Mother Mary, to God. You know,
Jesus.
to Jesus. Yeah, it's a fabulous connection, and the connection is in your hand. You know, it's there.
It's like a mobile phone.
It is. It is. It's
mobile phone to heaven.
Yeah, it's an absolute network you have there, Wi-Fi network.
Wi-Fi, yeah, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and it's in your hand, and it doesn't take much time. You know, it's not a big ask. You know, they don't ask too much, and they just say the rosary, just say some prayers, and Mother Mary's asking for those prayers, and why wouldn't we?
You prayed together, you said?
Yeah, you know, my wife always said, you know, a family that prays together stays together.
Is it like that?
Yeah, so family who always come together and pray together, they say they stay together. So yeah, you know, the kids and wife and I, we say the rosary, and it's a powerful healing in it. You know, there's a lovely togetherness in it, and you can bring your lovely intentions during the rosary time. And
you know, somebody said, like it's easier being naked in front of your partner than praying together. Is that because it's so intimate? Something very intimate.
Oh,
how
my
do you
God.
feel doing that with your wife? How is that?
look, I suppose it's you know, when you all have the same intention, you know, and we're all there together as a family. There's a lovely fellowship in that, and there's something beautiful about being vulnerable together. You know, it's not that I'm vulnerable and you're seeing my no. We're all vulnerable together. You know, I'm no bigger than you. There's no pride in it. You know, when that's the feeling that everyone has during the time of Rosary, again, it's magical. You know, and we're all just normal human beings who you know, who shouldn't feel, you know, I don't know, kind of naked. There's nothing. No, it's just vulnerability and
beauty, the vulnerability.
Yeah,
because you connect to a person
absolutely,
through vulnerability.
absolutely. No? It's when you think you're not vulnerable that's when pride kicks in.
Yeah.
You know, we're all very vulnerable. You know, and we all have a very finite time in this world. We only have about God knows how many years left. And that's how vulnerable we are. We are born vulnerable. We die. We live
like
very.
Jesus on the cross.
Yeah.
He showed it. It's the beauty of it, no?
Absolutely, absolutely. So look,
yeah,
life is vulnerable, and whatever little time we have, why don't we openly show our vulnerability, and to God? Who else are we showing this one? It's to God, you know. It's
that's
not
what
a
I
big.
told a friend today. I said, I like you because you have the same vulnerability. I can connect to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And you said confession played a big part.
Oh yeah.
Why? What is confession for you?
Look, for years and years I didn't confess because I was scared. I was scared because I thought I'd done so much sin that I've gone beyond confession. I've gone beyond redemption. I've gone beyond saving. So it's no point going confession. I'll die and someday I'll meet God and I'll tell sorry God. You know, I was scared to go and put myself in front of another human being. But then it took me many years to learn actually the priest who sat there, is just not a human being. He's there as Christ. He's there listening to your sins. He's there, you know, in as God. He's there, you know. And that changed my perspective. So when I came over here, again, Jim said, go for confession, George. It's very powerful in Medjugorje. So I did. I drummed up all the courage I could possibly get, and I said a wee prayer, and I went to confession. And again, people don't understand the amount of healing is in there. When you open up your heart and when you say, Father, I have sinned, even when you use the word sin, you just show your vulnerability, and you cry. And I cried I cried because I felt ashamed. There's a lot of guilt and shame in that, and I wanted to leave it all there. And I didn't want to feel guilty and shameful anymore of all the sins I've done. And even the priest was fabulous. He said, you don't have to tell me everything, George, because even a few things you say, everything is absolved prior to the time you came inside. Everything. You don't have to keep thinking about every single minute detail. God knows everything. So the amount of healing I got, just sat there and was crying. I didn't have to tell much since. He just let me in silence to cry, thinking about all my sins, thinking about all the shame and guilt I was carrying for all those years. And I felt so light coming out because I just left everything there, and I placed it in front of him, and I just sought for forgiveness, and that's what I got, So again, confession is for me healing.
What would you tell people 20 years didn't go to confession, they're scared to go to the priest? What would you tell them?
Not to be scared. Not to be scared. One of the biggest things is people, one, they don't know how to confess. That's one thing. And second thing is they think, oh, it's gone too long. I can't go and face a priest. No, priests know that we live in this day and age where technology is taken over. We don't have time for God. We don't have time for confessions. The priest knows all this. You just have to go and say, Father, look, it's been 20 years. And be honest about it. And
he helps you, no?
Yeah.
It's a conversation. It's not in a dark room. You don't see the priest.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we were brought up that way, where we always thought confession was such a big thing, and the priest was this amazingly big person, and we all used to be scared, going, no, not to be scared. That's why I kept saying, confession. If you haven't been to confession, don't be scared. You're there. There's a loving person there who's waiting to hear your sins. He's completely, unconditional love is there, all right? Unconditional positive regard is what the person has, and compassion. God will suffer with you. God will listen to you. That's what compassion is, isn't it? If you say, I'm feeling guilty and shameful, He listens to you and He'll suffer with you.
So we come to the point, because a lot of people think God the Father is an angry old man with a white beard, and He just wants to judge us and push us to hell, and that's not true. How is He? How is He?
He's the most compassionate person. We talk about human empathy. God has got compassion, which is way more powerful. Empathy is only you feel with someone, in empathy. But compassion you suffer with, and God suffers with you. When you say, God, I'm hurting, He suffers with you, and that's compassion. And God has His amazing compassion and unconditional love, unconditional positive regard. He only has positive regard, and that's unconditional. Whatever you do, He doesn't judge you. There's no bias. It's just unconditional positive regard, So the man who doesn't judge, the man who suffers with you, why wouldn't you go to him? And why wouldn't you go and talk to him? Say, I'm sorry, because He's there to forgive you. He's there to love you and embrace you. It's beautiful confession. So don't feel scared. Just go. There's God waiting there to
And I see you have like a living relationship. You have a relationship with God, Jesus, Our Lady. How can I was in Israel, and I went to a synagogue, and I went out. There was a Jewish guy. I said, do you have a living relationship with God? Do you feel Him? Do you talk to Him? You have it. Tell the people. How can you get that? I see you have it.
I don't know if I have it, to be honest, but
there is something going on. I see it in your face.
Yeah, look, it's when you say a living relationship, for someone to live,
or friendship, more like this.
Yeah, look, when He's giving us just not food, He gives us this amazing love that you live off. Then you stop existing and you start living. There's a big difference between people who just exist And they exist because there's no God in the life. You start living when you have God in your life. All right. So when you say I've got this living relationship with God, it's because I've got Him in my life. So I don't have to exist anymore. I live. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would like to add, because like a friend of mine said, before I was in Medjugorje, I was surviving, and now I'm thriving in Medjugorje. I found my vocation, and what is the connection to God? If you are in love with what you are doing, when you're passionate, when you're full-hearted, what Our Lady says, no?
Yeah.
Not lukewarm, hot or cold, no? Kind of like this?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, that's the living relationship I have with God, because I believe I've got His love and He loves me, and when you have that sort of love in your life, you live, and like you said, you thrive. You just don't survive, you thrive, and you thrive really well, and you make sure others thrive with you. People see you, and they get something off you. It's like what they say, I'm not funny, but I also make others funny. It's not my wit, I make others witty as well. It's like that. It's not because I'm living, I want to make others see that life I'm living. So it's very powerful, and you share that love. And
beautiful. And at the end, what would you tell people, like, a lot of people look for vocation here. How did you find your wife? What would you tell people? What should they do? It's such a big decision. How did you find, and what would you give them as an advice? And a good marriage?
Look, I'm sure my wife will be laughing if she sees this, but
go for it.
The people, yes, you're right. People come over here to seek for vocation. They discern, and they come over here to see if that's the right path, and people become, join and become priests and all that. That's one aspect of it. And yes, Medjugorje is a fabulous place where you have to come to decide, and God is here. You can feel it, and Mother Mary's love is so palatable. You can almost taste her love. People say they can smell roses in Medjugorje. So it's so
tangible.
So tangible. So perfect place if you want to come and discern your vocation is Medjugorje. Absolutely. Why not? Why wouldn't you give your life? Why wouldn't you sacrifice? If that's how you think your life should go that route, then why wouldn't you give your life to God and go on that route? But if you think marriage is your path, again, it's a sacrament. Marriage is a sacrament, where it's a very blessed sacrament. And for me and my wife, she always says the recipe for a good marriage is when my only reason to survive is to make you happy, and when your only reason to survive is to make me happy, then that'll be a perfect marriage. And it took me a long time to understand that.
Yeah.
It's not about what are you going to do to make me happy. No. What am I going to do to make you happy? And if she thinks the same, what can I do to make you happy? When we always have that sort of mentality and outlook in marriage, it'll be a lovely, lovely marriage. There won't be any blame. I won't say, why didn't you cook for me? Why didn't you do that? No, it's because I'm then expecting you to make me happy. No. My job is to make you happy. And that's a fabulous thing, isn't it? To have a lovely, healthy marriage. Another thing she always tells me is, look, my job is to make sure you go to God. Which means even if I slip a little bit, she'll say, no, let's go to Mass. Let's say the rosary. And if my job is to make you be there in front of God when you die, then we both are together in that journey. I want to make sure we're there. She wants to make me sure I'm there. So we're spiritually kind of bound, and we're kind of traveling together in that sort of a life. And on top of it, if my job is to make you happy, then it's an amazing combination, isn't it? To have a very healthy and loving relationship in marriage, with God around it.
Beautiful. At the end, what would you tell people? Maybe why should they come one time to Medjugorje? What is so beautiful, or just from the heart, what would you say as a summary of this interview?
Look, all put together, we all carry crosses in our life. Okay, there's no human being who doesn't have that. All right, in some shape or form, we all have crosses, and if you generally want some sort of an answer, if you're seeking God's love in your life, if you want to kind of, pray for someone else, if you want to grieve, it's just the perfect place. Mother Mary is here. she knows your intentions. You know, you just need to come once and take it from someone who's been here God knows how many times. You will come back. You know, you'll be addicted to Medjugorje.
To the divine hug.
Absolutely. You know, and so please do come. You know, bring your crosses with you.
And can you say, did you make the experience that through suffering and pain you came closer to God? A lot of people say that.
Absolutely. No, you can't get any more closer to God when you are at the brink of, giving up. You know, when you hit rock bottom, you know.
Maybe you did before you came here, no?
I did. I was. You know, and I was spoiled. In the words of Jim Curran, I was spoiled by Mother Mary.
That's a place to be spoiled by Mother Mary, no? That's Medjugorje. Thank you so much for this beautiful interview.
Not sure.